Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how to make something really cool with all those little pesky pieces of scrap clay you have laying around. So you're not going to need a ton for this tutorial today. Honestly, all you really need is your clay, a tissue knife, your acrylic roller, and then this next one is totally optional. I'm just using it because I have it, and that's gold leaf. You can get this at your local craft store. You do not need this for the tutorial though, so that's totally optional. So the first thing we want to do is roll out our clay. Okay, so I've rolled everything out, but this white has like a lot of lint and little pieces of like fuzz on it. So I'm using 100% acetone, and I'm just gonna take a paper towel and put a little bit on there and very gently rub it on the clay to clean it off a little bit. A Q-tip works best, but all I have is a paper towel. Okay, so your next step, you're gonna actually take your pieces of clay and you're gonna stack them on top of each other. For me, I'm gonna put the gold leaf in between. Now, the turquoise ones were bigger, so I cut them in half to make them fit the other sizes. So now here, I'm just taking this gold leaf and very gently pulling it out, and then I'm gonna lay it on top and rub it into the clay a little bit. Pull off any excess, and then go to our next piece of clay. And repeat the process over and over until we're all done. Okay, now that I have them all stacked, I'm gonna actually just cut the edges off to give myself clean lines to work with. Then I'm gonna take my roller and I'm just gonna try to smush it all together a little better. Now the clay doesn't like to always stick to the gold leaf, so you kind of have to be patient and work with it. It doesn't have to be perfect. So there we go. Now we're ready to move on to our next step, which is to slice into it, and I'll show you here how we're gonna do that. So just slice all the way through, and then you'll see those really cool lines. That's what you want. So we're going to do that with the whole slab. Okay, so my camera decided not to record the last part, but this is what it's going to look like once you slice it all up, okay? So now we're going to take it and we're just going to start squeezing it together to form a log. Okay, so I'm squeezing it like this because we don't want any air to get trapped in it, because when you get air in your clay, that's when you get bubbles whenever you bake it, okay? So I'm just squeezing it and rolling it out, and I'm actually gonna roll this out to, I don't know, maybe between 10 inches maybe. I'm rolling it out to give myself just enough to work with whenever I start to fold it, okay? So this next part is super simple. You're just gonna take it and you're gonna kind of fold it back and forth. Almost think of like a snake, how a snake's body goes back and forth. And we're gonna do that, and I'm squeezing as I go, just like that, okay? And then you're gonna take it in your hands and squeeze it really good. And I'm gonna form more of like a rectangle shape with this. You can roll it out again if you want to. I think this works best if you do it more of like a squared off shape to cut into it. And once you're satisfied and feel like you have all your air bubbles out and everything's sticking together really well, then we're gonna cut into it. And this is always my favorite part because I love seeing the really cool designs that this technique creates. It's absolutely beautiful. Look at how pretty that is. It almost looks like a butterfly. Anyways, let's go ahead and cut the rest of this up. Okay, so I cut the pieces and laid them all together and then squished them, which you can kind of see in the sped up part. And then I'm just taking my roller and I'm just rolling it out until I get my desired thickness. Now, you know how thick you like yours. I like mine pretty thin, but not so thin that they're gonna break and tear whenever I use my cutters. So once we're satisfied, then we're just gonna take our cutters and then we're gonna start cutting out our shapes. Okay, now that we have our design stamped out, we're gonna pull off the excess. This part is always so satisfying, especially when it comes off in one swipe. I love that, so satisfying. And look how pretty these are. I'll get one and hold it up close so you can see it a little better. I like to take my edges like this. Some of my cutters, if they're not super sharp, they leave just like a little bit of clay on the edge. So it just helps me where I don't have as much sanding to do. And I just kind of try to clean it up a little bit before I bake it. And that's it. Look how pretty that is. All right, so let's bake these at 275 for 25 minutes. Look at how beautiful these turned out, made all from scrap clay. I'm totally obsessed. I hope you guys try this technique. If you do, let me know in the comments and make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.